So, what's up, everybody? It is that time, okay, to talk about Insecure, episode 7, I think. Episode 7, Lowkey Trippin'. We only have 3 more episodes left, y'all. 8, 9, and then the season finale. And this season has been good. Like I would say, last episode was my least favorite episode of this season. But this season has been really good. And this episode was a lot better. Not that better, but it was a lot better than last week's episode because that episode was just so fucking boring. It was so boring. I understand that it was supposed to be an introspective episode, but still, that's just not enough. That's not enough, especially because this season has been consistently good. So to just throw that weak ass episode in the middle, it was just like, what the fuck, y'all? We really didn't need that. But last week's episode was an Issa episode, and this week's episode was an Molly episode. We only heard Issa just on the phone. We didn't even see her. She probably wasn't even really there. But, Molly, she's super geek. The episode opens up with her being at Mercado, Ethiopia, which is this, like I said last week, the same restaurant that she treated Issa to on the season premiere episode. I mean, the series premiere episode of Insecure, and she was in there, going back and forth with Andrew about this trip they're getting ready to take to Mexico. But she hears that door ring, and she looks and she sees Issa pulling in because she's getting ready to come in behind the person who rang the doorbell. I mean, rang the door. Whatever it was, it could have been some wind catchers that people have on doors and shit. Whatever. But she sees her, and Molly's like, okay, let me start fronting. Let me start acting like I don't know this bitch is coming through. So she's sitting there on her phone, smiling and shit, having a fake conversation. And she notices that she don't have that fucking bell ring. So she looks to see Issa getting in her car and taking off. And Molly's face was just like, I feel like it was a combination of hurt and disbelief, like disappointment and disbelief, because she's like, in that moment, she realized that Issa was avoiding her. And she's like, is this really what our relationship is now? Because I know this bitch saw me sitting here and she decided to just turn around and drive off on me like that. Like, she was just so hurt by that. But then she was like, oh, okay, that's the game we playing. Then I'll play right along with you. Being childish, okay, that's childish as fuck. And not even to malign Molly or criticize Molly, but I'm saying that's a childish ass way of thinking for anybody. If you have an issue, I'm talking all this shit as if I do the same thing. But to people who take the advice of others, if you have an issue with a best friend, a close friend, a family member, it is best to just address that and not play games. Okay, so she could have gotten up and chased after Issa and said, bitch, let's talk. Come on. Come sit down here with me and let's talk. But she didn't. She wanted to play the game that Issa was playing. So the next scene, Andrew is sitting on the couch speaking in Chinese. And sometimes, like, especially when you have characters of different ethnicities, you kind of forget that they're even a different ethnicity until they give you a reason to show you that they are a different ethnicity. So him sitting there speaking in Chinese, I was like, oh yeah, this motherfucker is Chinese and shit. This isn't like he's just not a Chinese actor playing the role. Like, he actually is of that culture, like he speaks the language. Because a lot of people, there are definitely some generic people out there who are just the race and have really nothing to do culturally with that race. Okay, assimilated into whiteness, and he ain't one of them characters or actors or people in real life. So he's talking about the trip, talking about we don't need that many fucking massages, and the way my back is set up, I don't think I can ever say that that's too many massages. Like, give me surplus massages, okay? But Molly walks in, Andrew immediately gets off the phone, which could be sketchy. Like, I'm surprised, insecure ass Molly wasn't like, who the fuck was you on the phone with that you gotta hang up when I come in the fucking room? so quick to hang up the phone when I step in the room. But nah, she's so caught up over the little microaggression with Issa. And she immediately starts telling Andrew about it. She's like, yeah, that bitch seen me and she ran away from me like I was an actual job. Which was just like the biggest jab that she could have fucking taken towards Issa. Like that was just almost borderline unforgivable. Like, did you really just say she runs away from real jobs? Like she runs away from real responsibilities? Like that was cold blooded of Molly. And Andrew's like, and he's just like, what? For real? And she's like, yeah. She being messy, she being full of shit, and fuck her. And Angela's like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but let's talk about this trip. They getting all freaky deaky, they getting all cute and shit, and I really like their relationship. Like, I'm so glad 4 seasons deep, Molly has finally found somebody that she connects with, and she found somebody that who acknowledges that she is fucked up, but is willing to do the work. Because most people just run for the border, and I can't say if I would do the same thing. I think I would just be willing to give everybody a try. But if you don't have the patience for that shit, then you just don't have the patience. And that's fine, too. So, the next scene, Molly goes to the office real quick because she has to squeeze in a meeting before the flight to Mexico. And Karen comes in, and Karen fucked up the bag for Molly, and Molly was like, look, bitch, when you make a mistake, you make me look dumb, and you don't get paid to make me look dumb. And I'm like, man, Molly must still be pissed about Issa driving off on her ass. Like, she treated Issa like Issa was supposed to pick her up from somewhere and just left her ass stranded, and she had to walk. Like, I'm like, damn, okay. Frustrations just spilling out on poor little Karen. Karen said she was sorry. I'm like, I understand Karen is insistent, but I just don't know how much of that shit I would have taken. I would have been like, look now, I apologize. Let's move on. My bad, my light cut out. Y'all know I gotta have some good light. I mean, cause I'm not getting up and cutting on the fucking lamp. I don't feel like it. I'm in the bed. It's going on what, either 2:30 or 3 o'clock. We not getting up for the rest of the night. That's it. But so she apologized. Molly handled her business, and then she had to rush to the fucking airport, hurriedly run through the goddamn, I don't know what it's called. I never been to an airport, but she had to hurry up and meet Andrew at the gate. She panicked, did a motherfucking full 360, and he's like, I seen you coming. So why would you turn around if I seen you coming? And she's like, I don't fucking know. But she meets him, proceeds, they get on the plane. Andrew's like, look, I spent all this money, okay, on the Economy Plus. I want all the pluses. I want the blanket. I want the croutons. I want the crackers. I want the cheese. I want the foot massages. I want the wine. I want the headrest. I want the earmuffs. I wanted a fucking all. And he's like, and the steward man, I don't even know if he's a stewardess, if he's a man. So I'm just gonna say the steward. Steward was like very, accommodating. Gave him a little complimentary blanket, and Molly and Andrew are just smitten with each other until they are interrupted by the person sitting across from them, and it is none other than television gold, black television royalty, black television excellence, Kim Fields, who got her start as Tootie on Facts of Life, then became Regine Hunter, and then wallowed away into obscurity. But regardless, she was on 2 classic sitcoms, okay? One for the whites and one for the blacks. She did her job, okay? Royalty right there. And she's like, are y'all going to Mexico? And Molly like, bitch, where else would we be going? This is the plane to Mexico. And she was like, I got on the wrong plane once, just like I got in the wrong marriage for 25 years. But I'm taking that 25 years back one day at a time. We on day 3. And they just like, okay. And motherfucking, what's her name? Mabel? Old ass name. Oh, I think it was Maple. One of the two. she couldn't contain herself. She started thinking about that nigga who fucked her over 25 years. She got up to go cry with her flat ass booty. Kim Fields ain't never had no booty. It was all up in her chest. That's where her booty was. Definitely offset her body. But Molly and Andrew, they proceed to Mexico. And one thing I liked about this episode that was so culturally cute was the fact that it predominantly was a Chinese cast speaking their Chinese language, but the setting was in Mexico. So all the songs for this episode was all Latin music. First of all, I love Latin music. I even love Latin trap music because Spanish is just a sexy ass language. Anything they say is fucking appealing to me. So they literally can be over there like some Latin Travis Scott, some Latin Futures, and I will love it all, even though I hate Travis Scott and Future. So it was so cool that for them to be in Mexico, the music for the show was was the tone of the fucking show. Like I really appreciate that entirely. Like I felt like Insecure was, you know, shouting out to ethnically different and culturally different cultures, and just giving them some little nods. So I thought that was cool. But they get there. Molly meets Andrew's brother and his wife Lydia, and the dynamic between I'm assuming that this is Andrew's big brother because that's definitely that big brother little brother energy that they were given, and Molly learned that if Andrew was ever out of pocket, just say gingerbread. I want to know what the fuck that means. It was so weird. But after they talk with them hoes, they go back to their hotel and they start getting freaky, because after Andrew then fucking gave her fingers on the plane, Molly was talking about how much she liked that shit, and he asked her what else did she like, and she said, "I like the fact that we was fucking in front of an audience and we could have got caught. So let's do something similarly. We'll do something similar, and you come out and fuck me on this balcony." And we all got to see a little bit of Angel's little tight ass. For everybody who was waiting to see, y'all finally got to see a little piece of his little tight ass. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I really don't want to break down this episode scene by scene by scene because like that can really just become a long ass video, and I don't really know what y'all like. If y'all really like the full episode breakdowns, if y'all really just want to get to what was really good in the episode. I mean, they ran into Maple ass again. She ain't had no booty running up them hills. They hiked, yeah, hills, not heels, but they hiked all the way up. Molly took a zip line down, which is something that I want to do. Either it's indoor or outdoor. I definitely want a zip line. And I wonder if there's fucking weight restrictions on that shit. I never want to find out. But I wonder, okay, would that shit ever snap from a big person being on there? But really this episode for me was like, Molly and Andrew like really solidifying that they are there for each other in this romantically, because Molly, you can tell, was so worried about fucking things up and scaring Andrew away. When she fucking woke up and he wasn't there, she just knew his ass had ghosted her, ditched her, the way she felt every other man has done her, even though she played a part in herself. But Molly lacks self-awareness. The thing that Molly and Issa have most in common is that they severely lack self-awareness. But when he showed back up and was like, "Nah, everything is fine. We will work it out. You had a argument with my brother, but that doesn't mean that this should be the end of us. Like, that's my brother. Like, I'm not with him. I'm with you." So that was cool. But when Molly and Andrew were in the hotel and not Issa, but Nathan had FaceTimed him about trying to get out of the fucking garage. I can't remember what it was, but Issa was in the background. Molly was just so annoyed, like, "Oh, look, she ain't talked to this bitch in how long?" And then the moment he comes back, they already back together. Same old Issa, she like being messy and shit. And Andrew's like, "That's actually, like, what do you mean?" She was like, "Well, he ghosted her." And he was like, "Well, when he ghosted her, he was actually going through some deep mental health shit." And Molly, like, you could tell, immediately felt bad. Like, "Oh, I didn't know." Like, yeah, you didn't know. But even though she was like, she spoke out of turn, which is something that she normally does, she was not wrong for how she felt because like even she asked, does Issa know that he went through some mental health shit? Because and even in that moment you could tell she was concerned for Issa because I feel like she still don't want Issa to be ghosted again, even though she ain't fucking with her. But that is something important to know, and that's something that Issa needs to know, because even though you having mental health issues, that still doesn't give you no excuse to just be upping and ghosting, especially when you have not told the person that you are trying to be with. That's emotionally unfair as fuck, because now I gotta go a whole month without seeing a person, talking to the person I'm supposed to be in a relationship with because they going through shit. Like, that's something that needs to be disclosed at the moment that you all decide to be serious. You know what I mean? And if Issa still doesn't know, then that is a problem. But Andrew was like, you know what? I don't know if Issa knows, and that's honestly between them. Issa ain't on this trip. I'm on this trip with Molly Carter. And they get the fucking again. Molly pulls out some sexy lingerie. She finally wore some sexy lingerie. Every other time Molly wears lingerie is fucking disgusting. Either it's a terrible ass pattern or like she wearing a diaper, a silk satin diaper. It's awful. But she actually has some sexy dominatrix shit on. She got on top of Andrew, slapping him, pushing him, busting his nose, all on the bed. Then she sat her ass on his face and he started tongue fucking her booty hole. I'm like, oh my God, they going there. I was hoping like they was gonna do like a funny scene of him using all them toys that he brought. Molly definitely met her match as far as freakdom. But the main issue of this episode was when Molly wanted to go. She got out of the pool to go get her future sister-in-law. Okay, I'm claiming that for her, whatever his last name is on the show. But she got up to get her future sister-in-law a towel. She went to the towel dispenser, and the bitch did not want to give Molly a towel because Molly did not have a key card. And she's like, I literally just got out of the pool like I'm staying here, although her body wasn't wet. She's like, that's why the bitch wasn't falling for it. She's like, bitch, you ain't even wet talking about you just got out of a pool. You're not about to get me with that banana in the tailpipe. But the lady was like, you know what? It's hotel policy. I can't give anyone a towel without them presenting me a key card. And she like, well, the white couple didn't fucking present you anything. You gave them a towel with no problem. And immediately, I feel like that bitch, the way she was acting, she knew Molly had just called her out. And she was like, I don't know what you're accusing me of. I didn't accuse you of anything. I just said you gave that white couple a towel without them presenting you a key card. So what are you saying I'm accusing you of? Either you just know you just fucked up right now. And she was like, and Molly was like, bitch, if you don't just give me a towel. And she was like, I will call my manager. And all of a sudden, Andrew's brother Victor comes through and was like, oh, she's room 328. She's good. And then lady proceeds to hand him the towel, which Molly snatches like, bitch, give me this goddamn towel. Because even then, you don't even know this bitch. But because he said he knows me and showed you a key card, you gave a towel away. And he probably did. Molly was completely justified to be upset. So she goes back to the pool. She hands her sister-in-law that towel. And Andrew can see that she's totally fucking pissed. And he's like, what's wrong? She like, that bitch didn't want to give me a towel, but she literally just gave the white people ahead of me a towel. Now, I seen people like arguing this. They were like, oh, well, Molly didn't see anything because she was just walking up when the bitch was already giving them a towel. And I'm like, no. If y'all watch the scene, Molly was already in line. We didn't see her walk up at all. So she was standing there the entire time. It's like just because like the scene cut to them receiving a towel don't mean that Molly wasn't already standing there. You know what I mean? That just mean that that's when they wanted us to see the bitch handing them a towel. But she wouldn't have had no reason to lie about that, to advance this fucking narrative, because at the end of the day, the bitch was very defiant to giving her a goddamn towel. So, and like she said, she never even denied not giving them a towel. I mean, giving them a towel without them presenting a key card either. She could have, if that didn't happen, the bitch could be like, bitch, no, I didn't. They showed me a key card, but she didn't say that. She just immediately got defensive, like, well, I don't know what you're accusing me of. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm telling you what the fuck you did. Okay. But be that as it may, so Molly's letting them all know that, and she was like, the bitch was just being, she wasn't intensely doing her job. She was selectively being racist. And all of a sudden, her brother in law wanted to have a dialogue on that she wasn't too interested in having because it literally just happened like 5 seconds ago. And he was like, being devil's advocate, how do you know she was being racist? What if she was just doing her job? And Molly's like, that's not what happened. I literally just watched her not give them, not ask for a key card to be presented to her before she gave them that towel. But then when it came to me, she didn't want to fucking do it. And he was like, racism, I experience racism all the time, but I choose to the way I fucking react to it. Like, you were giving it way too much power. And his girlfriend was like, look, y'all are arguing, and this is what white people want. They want us to be divided, and which was right. And that's the reason why we can't get anywhere as minorities, because but I feel like it's mainly how other people view us. Like, people do not want to unite with black people because at the end of the day, they still feel like they're better than black people. Like, if you look at places like China, you look at places like even like Latin countries, like, the lighter you are, the better. I remember having a conversation with one of my Taiwanese co-workers, and she was saying in Taiwan and China, the lighter you are means that you were like wealthy because you weren't out in the fields actually like doing like labor. You were indoors living well. Like, if you were darker, it's because you spent a lot of time in the sun because you had to work outdoors. You know what I mean? So anti-blackness is everywhere, and I feel like people do not want to be associated with black because either they equate black skin to like being poor or whatever the little stereotypes of the propaganda they have in their own countries. So when they come over here, they are not trying to unite with us. And I feel like a lot of times, like, especially like with the Mexicans, like, I feel like Mexicans have not protested those kids being in cages enough. Not as much as black people have protested shit. Like, when things happen to us, we're on Twitter, we're outraged, we're getting all our celebrities together, we're making the white people answer for what the fuck they did. But when those Mexicans are in those cages, it's like the Mexican community is just like, oh well, it's wrong. Fuck those white people, but hey, at least we're not black. You know what I mean? Like, it could be worse for us if we were black, so we're not. So we're just going to continue just being not black. And whatever privileges come with that, we'll take it. And I feel like that goes for like all minorities, like even Chinese people. And it's like Chinese people were, well, I don't want to say Chinese people, but Asian peoples was getting a taste of what the fuck we go through when they had all those hate crimes committed against them when Trump called the coronavirus the Chinese virus. And then it's like, okay, now y'all want to rally with us. Y'all want us to support y'all and y'all causes. When y'all are having y'all asses beat, when we literally get our asses beat every goddamn day. Okay, like, where were y'all? And I have seen like Twitter posts and Twitter threads where Asians like, nah, Asians have been there where blacks was like, not all. With the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm like, okay, not enough, because you wouldn't have to show me like some obscure ass pictures that I never even knew existed of y'all supporting us Black Lives Matter movements. So it's just like, and that's what Molly was saying, like, y'all are only people of color when it benefits y'all. Like, and that's the situation where it benefits y'all. Like, oh, look at us. This coronavirus stigma that we have is wrong. We need y'all to do something about it. This isn't how we are. But for the most the time y'all been here, y'all just enjoy not being black. But now all of a sudden y'all being discriminated against. Now all of a sudden y'all a person of color, and it's like, you can't pick and choose when you want to be a person of color. If you're seeing shit happens to different peoples of color, and you know you're a person of color, then you have to stand out. You just can't, stand up. You can't stand up when only it affects you and your people. That's what Molly was saying. Andrew got like lightweight offended by it because it's like, what does that mean? And she was like, well, you're different. And he was like, different how? And she really didn't want to get into it. And that's when Victor was like, see, you pick and choose who you want to have that energy for. And she was like, you know what? I'm over it. Now, the more frustrating, this was such a good scene. And the more frustrating thing for me is like, dude, we literally have it the worst and have had it the worst out of all the races. Don't be trying to sit up here and invalidate our experience, minimalize our experience, or say we're overreacting because this happened to us all the time. You may get it, but not to the degree that we get it. You may get it, but not at the frequency at which we get it. Okay? But Molly didn't have the time to really explain that to that bitch. She was like, you know what? Fuck you. Andrew, get your brother. I'm gone. And then that's when the scene goes to Molly and Andrew in the bed. They're sleeping on opposite sides of the bed. And it's just like, Andrew ain't even do shit. Why he being punished for his brother being an asshole? But like I said, when Molly woke up in the morning, he wasn't there. She was just like, oh my God, I Mollied again. Like this is what Issa was talking about. And then when he came back, she was like, oh, well, I ain't fuck up yet then. I still got room to fuck up. But he, like I said earlier, they're gonna figure it out. Molly does some self-reflecting on the beach, like, man, maybe I am tripping a little bit. I need to call Dr. Rhonda. And I asked y'all in one of my earlier videos, I was like, where is her therapist? Because, like, we're 7 episodes in, we ain't seen Dr. Rhonda. Where's Dr. Rhonda? Last time we seen Dr. Rhonda, Molly was explaining to her, like, after Dro, she just want to, do things that serve her. And Dr. Rhonda was like, who is Dro? Dr. Rhonda was looking through her notes like, who the fuck is this nigga? Why am I just not hearing about a Dro? And Molly ain't had nothing to fuck to say. Well, on their way back into the States or back into LA, Molly runs into Lawrence, and they have that awkward ass exchange that they had when Issa had her go to his job and do like 4 fake walkarounds, okay, using her. Like Molly always said that she done, and people want to claim that Molly a fucking bad friend. Molly got shit to do, okay? She a lawyer. But she took time out of her business schedule to do 4 fake walkarounds to get the attention of a nigga that Issa cheated on. But y'all want to talk about Molly a bad friend. Anyway, they had that awkward ass exchange. Had that awkward ass exchange. And and she proved that she can be just as awkward as Issa with that whole "you gotta do" reference. Cause I didn't know what she meant. Cause he said I'm coming from Frisco, and she was like, "You gotta do." I never watched Full House, so I don't know the correlation between Frisco and "you gotta do." I don't know, but I when I heard "you gotta do," I knew who the fuck that came from. I just didn't know the context from which it came. But they had that awkward exchange, and Lawrence gets on the phone, and he's like, I've been wanting to call you. How you been? I already knew he was talking about Issa. I don't like to watch previews. I watched a little bit of a preview to see that, he and Issa are going out for a drink. But that was this episode, y'all. I thought it was good. I thought it was so much better than last week's episode. Thank y'all for watching. I will see y'all again next week.